Hello. As you all know, internationally educated nurses face the lengthiest and most expensive journey to gaining registration in Canada compared with other applicant streams. But in this video, I'm going to show you how you can register as a nurse without NNAS, because on January 31st, British Columbia College of Nurses and Midwives, the BCCNM, launched a new application process for internationally educated nurses. The good news is that the government of British Columbia has provided funding to support this initiative through the Internationally Educated Nurse Bursary Program in order to address the barriers that these IENs, the Internationally Educated Nurses, face in their efforts to become registered nurses in British Columbia. So let's look at the registration process. With this new process, the BCCNM assesses internationally educated applicants for both registered nurse and licensed practical nurse registration at the same time through one application. So applicants also have the option of applying as a healthcare assistant through the Healthcare Aid and Community Health Worker Registry. You see, this dual application enables applicants to enter the healthcare workforce sooner in the designation that matches their current nursing competence. You know, nursing education and practice differs around the world. If you do not meet the competency required to practice as a registered nurse, you may meet the competency required of a licensed practical nurse or even a healthcare assistant. Let's look at the registration process and how to apply. So first, you want to start by applying to the NCAS. You want to visit www.ncasbc.ca to get your application started. The NCAS means Nursing Community Assessment Service. So they're going to help confirm your identity, and they're going to evaluate your English language proficiency, your educational criteria, and nursing skills and knowledge through a competency assessment. Most internationally educated nurses will need to complete a competency assessment. So that's the first step. The next step would be to apply to the BCCNM. So to apply to the BCCNM, you want to send your documents to IENapplications@bccnm.ca. And which documents would you be sending? You would be sending the application for Internationally Educated Nurse Registration Form, and you would also be sending a copy of your resume or CV. Again, you will not be charged an application fee. The cost is being waived through funding from the government of British Columbia. And in case you're wondering if you need to apply to NCAS before you apply to BCCNM, well, both applications can be started at the same time, but I recommend you start with NCAS first. So once you have submitted your NCAS application, you can then come back and start an application with BCCNM. I also recommend that you work towards completing the requirements for your NCAS and BCCNM applications at the same time, so the application process moves as quickly as possible. The next step after you submitted your application, a member of the registration services team will review your documents. You'll be sent a detailed email with instruction on how to request information from your previous nursing employers and regulatory bodies. So the BCCNM will make a registration decision on your application once they have received all your outstanding documents and form, and when they've received your NCAS applicant package. The BCCNM registration services will assess your application and determine your eligibility for registration. So if any competency gaps are identified during the assessment, additional registration requirements, typically additional education, will be noted in your registration letter. Once you have completed your additional education requirements, if that will be required, you will need to contact BCCNM registration services, and you will be eligible for provisional registration and will be given instructions on how to register for the relevant registration exam, maybe the the REX-PN for licensed practical nurses, or the NCLEX RN. If you choose to hold provisional registration, they will send you another email with instruction on how to pay your registration fee through the BCC NM account. You will appear in the online directory once you're authorized to practice. Please note, you cannot legally practice until you have received an email from BCC NM confirming your provisional registration. And the next would be that once you have successfully completed the registration exam and any other requirements for registration, you will be granted a practicing registration. You will appear in the online directory once you're authorized to practice. So if you held provisional registration, your status will automatically be updated to practicing registration once you have met all of these registration requirements. How much would all of this cost? How much would be the registration process? Well, the Nursing Community Assessment Service application would cost nothing. It doesn't cost you anything. So you can see that will be free. Your credential assessment should cost $120 to about $650. But again, you would be eligible for reimbursement through the IEN Bursary program. English language proficiency, if required, would cost between $300 to $395. But again, you would also be eligible for reimbursement through the IEN Bursary program. The NCAS competency assessment is free for applicants enrolled in the IEN Bursary program. If you're not enrolled, it's going to cost you about $3,000. The BCC NM registration application is also free. Transitional education, if it's going to be needed, is the cost is variable. So, but either way, you're also eligible for reimbursement through the IEN Bursary program. The registration exam for the practical nursing exam will be $350. NCLEX RN exam will be about $360. And your BCC NM practicing registration will cost about $600. But again, you would notice that majority of the fees you qualify for reimbursement through the Internationally Educated Nurse Bursary program. Again, like I said, majority of the fees have either been waived due to government funding or are available for reimbursement through the bursary program. So the NCAS application and the BCCN application are free. But again, if you sign up for the BC government's Internationally Educated Nurse Bursary program, the NCAS competency assessment will be free and other fees will be paid back to you. Now, what is the Internationally Educated Nurse Bursary program? It provides financial support to offset the cost of becoming registered as a nurse in British Columbia. So you want to visit nursingjobsbc.ca to apply for the Internationally Educated Nurse Bursary program and learn about other services and supports available to you through the Health Match BC. One question most people will ask is, do I have to apply to the IEN Bursary program in order to go through this new registration process? Well, you do not have to apply to the Bursary program in order to apply for registration in British Columbia. However, you do need to sign a return of service form with the government of British Columbia in order to have the competency assessment costs removed and to have other fees related to the registration process returned to you. And that is, in a nutshell, is how you can get registered in the British Columbia province and also get reimbursement for majority of the fees spent getting registered in this Canadian province. Continue to subscribe to the channel. Keep getting updates as we keep providing more videos to help you achieve your goal of practicing as a nurse in Canada.